Val, how are you today?
Good. How are you, Dakota?
Good. Was that a bit aggressive the way I just said that?
No, it was like it's exciting. I almost felt your energy come through the Zoom call, and that's what I needed. So it was like a punch in the face in a good way.
Right. It's a good way to start off.
Yes, exactly.
How
I'm
has your
actually
week been?
good. It's been good so far. What are we on Thursday? I can't believe
Yes.
it's Thursday. It doesn't feel like it should be Thursday or December the 10th, but here we are. So it's been really good. I've done a few mortgages and some life insurance
Just
and
today or just this week?
this week, not
This
just
week.
today.
I was
Today
gonna
I got
say,
one of the
wow.
approvals through. So
Nice.
yes. And I did like a paperwork day, which I find for me, I need to like set aside a chunk of time and like go deep in it because I don't love paperwork. So that felt good to just get some stuff done.
I love that. How are you feeling about Christmas being 15 days from today?
Um, Unprepared,
Yes,
but
amen.
like okay with it too because it's not the normal Christmas. And I think that's kind of nice that some of the like pressure to buy for everyone that you're going to see is maybe off because I'm not seeing as many people and I would just rather like spend time with family. I don't know. Does that make sense?
I agree. I agree.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I always worry about like if I'm seeing a bunch of people, like, do I have to get them a gift? Do I get them a gift? Do I
Right.
not? And
Right.
then
Because the worst is when like they do and you don't. You're like, whoa, I didn't know we were that kind of friend.
exactly. My grandparents, I remember they used to have a box of chocolate wrapped up in their house every Christmas. That way, if someone stopped by and dropped them off a gift or something that they weren't expecting, they always had a backup gift.
So that's where like I might grab a couple bottles of wine. That's just like, oh my gosh, I thought of you too. Merry Christmas.
Exactly. That's always been in my head. Like, I should do that. I don't because I never think
But
of it, but
and
it was
I'd
a great
also eat
idea.
it or drink it. But I mean, it's a good idea.
Exactly. All right. So I wanted to start off this week. We're on episode 5 already.
I
That's
can't believe.
5 episodes of us talking, and people are actually listening.
And like we're getting to talk to each other every week.
I
I love
know,
it.
which it didn't happen a lot, but
No,
now we have
because
like,
we both
yeah,
suck at texting and we both
yes,
accept that.
yes. But yeah, it's been 5 weeks. So I just wanted to send a quick shout out to every single person. I know that we've received like a lot of support and a lot of reviews and critiques, and a lot of people are all texting me like, hey, congrats on the podcast and stuff like that. So I just wanted to send like a general blanket thank you to every single person who has texted me, has subscribed, texted you, followed our videos, or even listened. We're getting decent numbers, and those numbers are staying pretty consistent and going up. So people are actually listening and telling their friends
Up,
and
Shania
stuff.
Twain. Sorry.
Wow. Exactly. Okay. Oh, and if you could cue that in right now, Shania Twain, up, 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 that would be perfect.
All right, who are we saying thank you to? Let's hear that list. I'm
Oh, I don't
excited.
have a list. Do you have a list? I just
Oh
wanted to do
no,
like a
I thought
general.
maybe that you could pull that from Apple.
No, they don't tell me like everyone's name who's
I thought
listened.
it was maybe like a bit of an invasion, but I'm like, you never know.
No, I just, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Not
Good.
quite. No, I'm not going
Oh,
to single anyone out, but yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone.
I know that my mom listens, so thanks, mom. Oh
Yeah, my mom listens too. She always texts me every week a quick review.
my
Um,
gosh, that's awesome.
so yeah, and my grandparents too. Shout out to Nana and Papa, Izzy and Wayne. They listen every week, and then they text me after they listen and say, "Another great podcast this week," and it just warms my little heart.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I
Yeah,
love the support. Okay, thank you
exactly.
all for listening and for tuning in and for supporting and for reviewing and for growing with us while we grow together.
Beautiful. Anyways, speaking of thank yous, I wanted to talk about just quickly go over our day that we had. What was it, last week already?
Yeah, it was like December the
The
second,
third,
just
no,
8 days ago.
second. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Yeah.
last Wednesday then it was.
Yeah.
We went on a little tour. We called it the Local Love Tour, which
Mhm.
coined by Val. And we just visited a couple of businesses collecting donations for a women's shelter that's local to us.
Yes.
And then we also made some TikToks, which are on our TikTok account, which Owen has put the username somewhere down below here. If you want to check out those videos, they're pretty cool. We went to a bunch of different kind of businesses, and they all donated. And I just dropped those donations off just today, and they gave us a nice little thank you card, which I thought was so sweet,
Yes, I love it.
addressed to both of us and the new network. So I thought we would just kind of do a little unboxing here
Yeah,
of
open it
the
up.
card. This is so exciting. I love Christmas cards. Here it is, everyone.
Oh my gosh.
And they wrote a sweet little message in it, just thanking us
Are you gonna read it?
for the donations. It's kind of long.
Okay.
It just says, thank you for partnering with us and have a good year and stuff like that. And then they also sent us a little business card as well.
Oh, that's so cute.
Right.
That's fun. I love it.
Yes.
Yes.
So we donated quite a lot, a good portion of gifts and checks and gift cards and stuff like that. And they're all going towards families who are in need this Christmas, which just was an amazing feeling. I had a lot of fun that day, actually.
That was awesome. And the other project that we're working on right now is we're partnering with two retirement homes and long-term care homes in the area. So collectively, they have around 300 residents within the both of them. And we have partnered again with a few local classrooms, and we're having them create Christmas cards for these residents because COVID aside, some people don't see their family when they're in these homes. But with COVID, especially, the loneliness is that much greater. So we want to spread the cheer that much further. So we're having students create cards for the elderly. And I think the other awesome lesson that comes from it is a good grounding factor that Christmas isn't about the gifts, especially like public school, that age. It could have been really, it can be very consumer focused, but it's about, thinking about others other than yourself. So that's
exactly.
on the go as well right now.
Yes, and I'm so excited about that. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited to deliver those letters and play Santa for a day.
Yes, agreed.
That's going to be awesome. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. We'll probably do some more TikToks or videos on that. Mm-hmm. Just kind of keeping you guys in the loop with how that goes. Yeah. Cool. And speaking of giving and being in the Christmas spirit, we are doing a quick little giveaway next week on the podcast. So if you are one of our listeners, make sure you don't skip next week's episode. I'm not going to give too much away, but yeah, it's going to be cool. Tuned. Exactly. Stay tuned. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before we kind of get into the meat?
No, let's dive into today's meat. Did you say the meat?
Yeah. Coming from two people who don't really eat meat. Yeah. Oh, wait. One more thing before we start. I'm scatterbrained today, of course. I wanted to recommend one more podcast, as I have been doing every episode. This is another true crime podcast. I'm so sorry, but I just found it today and it was just really exciting. And I listened to over 3 hours of it today. It was that good and it kept my attention. I did a lot of driving today, so that's why. But it's called Morbid, the true crime podcast. And it's just two girls, kind of like My Favorite Murder. They just kind of go through cases, but they hit the nail on the head with the amount of details that I want to hear, and then skipped over the things that I don't really want to hear. Fair. There's kind of like a fine line there in true crime podcasts, because some share way too much information and then some kind of are too scared to get into the good information. I really feel like
it's a bit of a dance.
It is a bit of a dance, but I think that they did a really good job. So definitely go check them out. They're pretty popular. For some reason, I had never heard of them until today, but Morbid, the true crime podcast, go check it out. I listened to the John Wayne Gacy episode, 10 out of 10. Amazing work.
That was a cute face. All right. So now we're getting into the true crime meat.
Didn't like that.
No, I didn't like that either. Now we're getting into the vegetarian meat.
The tofu of the episode.
Tofu of the episode.
Yeah. So this week we are going to we're not going too far away from business, but we are taking a little bit of a break from talking about business and kind of going a little bit more personal, I think. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about those lows that people experience, that I know for sure I experienced, those kind of peaks and valleys saying, nope, the valleys in the valleys in the peak and valley saying. So all of those low times and what we do to kind of get in the better mindset and how we deal with those.
Yeah. And to pull ourselves out of those ruts. And I find that I feel like with working as a young person in business, the peaks and the valleys were that much more embellished because you do work for yourself. So like when I worked at the bank, if I was having a bad day, I still went to work. Right.
Exactly.
But now it's like, oh, well, do I need to take time for myself? Or it's different. So yes, we want to talk about the ruts today. So Dakota, did you have a story you wanted to share with us?
Yes, I did. So it's kind of like a feel-good story, and it has something to do with being in a bit of a bad headspace, and just something that you can do to help other people out. I don't even know if you're going to remember this, but it's something that you did that has kind of always stuck with me. It was like maybe grade 10 in high school, and it's always
Ooh,
stuck with me, and I don't think you realize like how important it was to me. So
okay.
I'm excited for you to hear this.
Am I gonna cry?
I hope not, but no, you won't. It was like a really small thing that you did that you're just the kind of person who probably didn't even think twice about doing it, just did it. But it kind of like just it really kicked me in the butt and made me like
Ooh,
I'm
okay.
wallowing in myself a bit. Okay. So in
Sorry.
high school, I really don't remember what grade it was, but I was in like a really bad headspace for, I don't even remember what it was, like maybe a family tragedy or something had happened. And I know
Mhm.
I had missed either a day or two of school, and I wasn't answering texts or anything like that. And you were just consistently texting me because like we were really close at that point. And you like could obviously tell something was wrong, but I know like if you know me personally, you know I'm not the kind of person who's just like, oh yeah, this is what's wrong.
This is what's
I
on my mind.
Yeah, no, I just either don't respond or change the subject real quick or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm sure I was deflecting a lot.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think it was day 2 of me not being at school and like barely answering your text. And it was probably like 11:30 midnight, just on a random school night. Do you know where I'm going with this or no?
Is this when I left something outside your window?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't even texting you or anything. Like I think I was probably dodging your texts. I was just like in my own space, didn't want to be
Yeah.
bothered. And I get a text from you, and it was like really late at night, I remember. And it was a school night, and we were like 15, like no, you were
Okay.
driving, so like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And you texted me, and I was just in my bed, and you texted me saying, "Hey, I don't know what's wrong or what's going on or anything, but go look out your window or something." And you had left like a hot chocolate right outside my window, and like it was just like the perfect thing, that it was just what I needed in that moment, because just like a reminder that I wasn't alone, like I had people there, you were there, and like
Yes.
it took like 2 minutes out of your day. And like I that story is always in the back of my mind whenever I'm in like a bad mood or whatever. I just remember that because like you did that for me without
And
even knowing what was wrong.
and I want you to know that like no matter how much we talk or don't talk, like I'm always here too, just to remind you how much I love you. Um, see, and those things, yeah, like at that time, and I do it now too, where we deflect, right? We're in these darker ruts, and we don't want to maybe talk about it right then, but so we deflect. But it's the people that stick with you through those times, like even if they don't understand what you're going through, they're still there for you. That are, I think, really important to keep around. And clearly, this is why we're still here.
Exactly. And I think like deflecting and maybe not talking about it, there's definitely people out there who are like super open and will be like, this is what happened. This is what I
Yes.
need from you. But for me personally, I never know what I need when I'm in those kind of headspaces or when I'm in a low
Yeah.
or whatever. And it was just, you didn't like try and push too hard. You didn't like, you know,
Yeah.
make me come out of bed or whatever. It was just like that small thing. And then I'm pretty sure I went to school the next day and I was like, we're all good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. See, but you're right. Like I think that when you're in that headspace, and I get into it like to this day where you don't know what you want, you don't know what's going to make it better, and there's certain people that like myself, I like to think of it as like a wound, so I want to talk about it once I've healed a bit, but some people like to talk about it when it's like fresh, and that's okay, but I'm not that person. I'm like, I need some space and some time, and then I'll talk about what's going on.
Right. And I think it's important to remember as well that like everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people do go through that. And it's okay if you're not ready to talk about it or if you're not ready to leave your bed or
Mhm.
whatever your
Yeah.
situation is. If you're in that headspace, you might not even know what you need, and that's okay. It's
Yeah.
not on you to be better for other people, if that makes sense.
Yes. And I think it's okay to visit the lows, but don't live there.
Exactly. I love
Right.
that. And just like we said, like some people don't know how to pull themselves out of those lows. So it's just like being a friend and being there for people. Like
Mhm.
I'm not saying go drop off hot chocolate at every single person's house that you know, especially with in COVID these days. But it's those little gestures that make
Yes.
the world of difference for those around
Yeah.
you.
And it doesn't have to be anything what's the word that I want? Like where you have to,
Grand.
yeah, grant, or like you have to buy it. It can just be like a letter. It can be a phone call. It can be a Facebook message. It can be sending someone like a quote. Like I like doing that. If you come across something, you think of someone or you tag them in it. It's just reminding people that you're thinking of them. And when those thoughts come into your head of a certain friend or a certain memory, share it. Like don't just like think about it and laugh about it or whatever it may be. Reach out to that person. Like
Exactly.
keep connection alive. It's a human essential connection.
Just think about how excited you get when you get a text from someone you haven't heard from in a while, or if someone tags you in something on Facebook, or TikTok is a big thing right now. Like every time one of my friends sends me a TikTok that they just thought of me when they watched it, it's just, I get happy when
Yeah.
that happens. So just think
Yeah.
about
I love
that
that.
2 buttons that it takes to send someone a TikTok or tag someone a Facebook post.
Right. And I think that when we're in those lows, what helps us is giving like sharing love again, and that helps bring our light back. So whether it's committing to telling one person every day a compliment, or making one person laugh, or making one person feel special daily, even if it's just like a hey, good morning, I hope you have a great day, to someone that you usually don't do that to, your heart gets brighter as you continue to shine on other people.
And even if you don't believe in like karma or juju or whatever you want to call it,
Spiritual side.
yeah, I know you're big on that.
I know.
And I am too. Like
Secretly, you're a secretly. Spiritual.
Yeah, like I'm a closeted spirited person, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I love it.
Even if you don't believe in that, putting that, just try it. Put it out there, put that positivity out there, and watch your mood change like that.
Do it once, like do it for 30 days. Just share something to someone positive for 30 days and then tell me that it doesn't do anything for you.
Exactly.
This shit is real.
It is. It really is. But
I think fate, like bringing us together. Anyways, I won't get any deeper into that or I'll be here all day, but just
fair. Maybe we could do an episode on our spiritual beliefs.
Yes, deal.
That would be fun. But I think with most things, this won't work for everyone. I don't know how I'm trying to say that, but
yes.
So everyone has their own methods, and maybe you don't know it. Maybe you don't know it yet. Maybe you don't know how to get yourself out of your lows. But if you don't have anyone around you like that, Val, and you're in a low, what do you do yourself to kind of pick yourself back up?
Yeah, like being stuck in a rut. Some of my things will be like I have my dogs, so taking them for a walk. Journaling, it doesn't have to be a fancy journal or any sort of prompt. It can be just a blank piece of paper, and you can ask yourself a question. Like if I'm in a low, like if you write what's wrong and you set a timer for 20 minutes, in 20 minutes you'll be amazed that you have taken 20 minutes, but the page will be full, and you might not be like, oh my gosh, that's what was wrong, I'm good to go, but you're going to take the negative energy that was in you and divert some of it to a source that's external and just gives you some sort of release.
Right. And I think that journaling or diarying.
Yeah.
Where
did those come from?
Yeah, I don't know. Journaling or yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They have a bit of a stigma around them,
totally.
Especially with men.
Yes.
It's not seen as manly to journal or write in your diary every night. But one thing that I do, not that I am worried about, how I'm perceived, but one thing I do is instead of writing it out, like I don't have a journal, my notes app on my phone is absolutely filled with just me writing to myself.
That too. Yeah.
All
and
the time.
Like, especially if you're in a situation where you're concerned about someone finding it and that being dangerous for you, or just you want some privacy, put it on your notes in your phone or on your laptop. Like just take that time to pour your emotions into a form. You don't even have to reread it. But there is a release that comes from getting it out.
And another thing that I also do when I'm in a bad headspace is I go back through and I have all those notes saved, and I go back through and I read them. Yeah. And I'm going through everything that's kind of upset me, and it just kind of helps me out, like thinking, you know what? I thought that this was the end of the world back then. Look what I did. I got through it. I'm here today, and now I have another bump, but I'm strong enough to get through it. And another thing I do in my notes app, when I'm in a bad headspace, especially if it's not because of someone else, but if it's involving someone else. I'm
Mhm.
doing this a lot today, everyone. I don't know
I
why.
really like it. You brought your pet bunnies to the
Yeah.
studio.
That's good. Anyways, where was I? Oh yes. Another thing that I do instead
Mhm.
of, because I used to be really big on conflict and confrontation, like in high school and maybe
Oh,
even
I know.
university. Okay, we can talk about that a different day. But now I'm just not big on confrontation or conflict. Like it stresses me out. I know that it causes me anxiety, so I just try and avoid it at all cost.
Yes.
So I write texts or I write emails or I write letters to someone that I'm not happy with in my notes,
Yeah.
and then I give it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then if I still feel like that's what I want to say, then maybe I could go think about calling or texting them and talking about
Right.
it. But after I've written all that out, 9 times out of 10, I take a deep breath and I'm
Mhm.
like, what am I doing?
Which is so smart because then I think a lot of times when we're in those emotional states when we act strike while the something's hot, there's like a saying. Anyways, when we're speaking like from a place of heat that's not kindness to other people and we direct it at them, we I feel typically regret it, um, because we hadn't actually processed the emotion ourselves before we started spitting it at others.
Right.
Not like the word spitting, but you know what I mean.
You know, putting it out there at others.
Yes.
Another thing I am really, really big on when I'm in a bad headspace or when I am in a rut is personal space. I
Mm-hmm.
know that's not a big thing for everyone. Like a lot of people just want to be around people. But for me, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I just need even an hour to breathe, calm down, and
Yeah.
realize, like, hey, this is not the end of the world.
Yes.
I can do this. I can get over it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I do.
And
Um,
I find that I get into ruts when I've said yes to too many things that I wish I would have said no to.
yes.
So I typically will like almost get overwhelmed and then I'm in my rut and then I need to say no to a few things that don't align with me, whether it's a dinner, whether it's a client meeting, whether it's something like extracurricular that I'm like, yeah, I'll go do that. And then the day comes and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go do that. Why did I? So everything piles on top. And then I need to start saying no to kind of push my way back up to the surface and be like, okay, now I'm good because I'm not just dodging what's right in front of me. I have a clear path to walk for a little bit and gain my like feelings and control back.
I think it's also important to remember that you as an you as an individual,
Individual.
we'll cut that out. Me as an individual, you don't really owe anyone anything. You
No.
owe yourself everything, but you don't need to say yes. You don't. I find I get overwhelmed even if I have scheduled two things that are too close together, even if they're going to get coffee with a friend and then picking something up at the grocery store. If I
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm rushed, that coffee that I'm with that client or that friend or whatever, I'm in my head the whole time thinking,
Yeah.
okay, no, I need to leave by this point.
Right.
So blah
You
blah blah
don't
blah blah.
enjoy it.
It's not
Yes.
fun, and I'm also not present with that person. So really, what was the
It is.
point?
Is the big P word, right? Like you might as well have said no to it because you didn't even show up as yourself because half the time your brain was like, yo, time's up, time's up, time's up. You got to go do this, you got to go do this. Then you're gone to the grocery store and you're like, wow, I wish I would have been more involved with that person.
Exactly. Or I'm laying in bed that night and I'm thinking, I'm replaying our conversation that while
Yeah,
I'm trying to fall asleep, and I'm like, I don't even remember what we talked about. I don't remember what happened because I was too
right.
busy thinking about how I needed to be at the grocery store by 5 o'clock for my day to go well.
I'm a little too big with that. And part of like we talked about the other week was how there's like well, maybe I just have this conversation with myself, how there's like this structure in business that, well, the new network, it doesn't work for us anymore. They're like, you should have 10 meetings every week. I don't have 10 meetings every week. And if I did, I would be like unsuccessful sheerly due to the fact that I would show up like an empty souled advisor with no energy left because it's all been sucked by the first two meetings where I gave it my all and I showed up and then I didn't recharge and I didn't take care of me. So then those other 8 clients get not
And
me.
exactly. And that's actually a disservice to your clients
Right.
because
Right.
that's not the kind of business you're trying to run. That's not the kind of person you're trying to be.
No, and that's not how I would ever want my clients to take care of themselves to show up for me. Like I
Exactly.
have clients with new babies, with different job schedules. Like no worries. Let's find some time that works for you.
Exactly. And I also find that when I am scheduling myself too thin, I start to run behind a lot because I schedule. I'm maybe not the best with scheduling meetings because I, I think we're both pretty bad at this. I think we're both like when we get into a conversation or we get somewhere and
Yeah.
we're talking, and all of a sudden our half an hour meeting has turned into, like for
3 hours.
example, exactly. I did a showing like maybe 2 weeks ago now, and it was just this tiny like 1,200 square foot condo,
Mhm.
and it was with a new client. We had only ever spoken on the phone and
This might be
text.
where my dogs get loud. Can I mute?
Yeah, you definitely can. I'll continue my story. Hi, Whiskey and Daisy. Check out our TikTok if you want to meet those guys. Yeah. Anyways, my story. I went to a condo showing with a client I'd never met before. And I luckily it was my last thing of the day. It was at like 7 o'clock at night. So I didn't have anything else going on. But I had scheduled half an hour for that showing, and it ended up being almost 2 hours because we were there, we were talking, we were getting to know each other, and we just kept talking and talking and talking. And finally I looked down at my clock or my watch, and it had been like an hour. So I was like, oh, we better get out of here. And then we went to the front door, stood there for another 20 minutes. And like, luckily I didn't have anything else going on. But if that had been during the day and I had scheduled something half an hour after, I would have been running late to that. And then when I'm running late to something, it puts me in a bad headspace because I don't like to wait for people, and I know I shouldn't be making people wait for me. Um, so that was a story that had a point. And yes, so that was my story about um, life. Are you back, Val? Is everything going okay?
I haven't heard a door open, but they were just really losing it. But I have been in that same situation where, and I'm working on being better at either setting more times for meetings or wrapping it up at a better time and being like, okay, like I've got to go, because I also have to respect my other clients' time that I might be pushing behind.
And it's not even just like respecting clients, it's also respecting your family, your
Right.
significant other, whoever you have made, even if they're not solid plans. You still have obligations unless you're living by yourself, then maybe it's a little bit different.
Yeah, but even then it's respecting yourself. Also, I think you called my dog Daisy, which I love.
No, I definitely said Maisie.
I'm gonna re-listen to this. I think
Oh no. Val's dog's name is Maisie, not Daisy. And I don't even know a dog named Daisy, so I'm not sure where I got that from.
I think you were trying to combine your name with hers, which is fine,
Or
but
yes, maybe that. I was also under a little bit of pressure too, so I was
it's
probably
okay.
just
I had
panicking.
to peace out. They're running down here now. If you can, okay, I'm gonna need you to relax.
Oh my God, are they with you?
Yep, she's like right here, trying to be part of the show.
I mean, I love puppies. Everyone loves dogs.
I know this is true, and actually, like I think with a lot more people working from home, people are also more accepting because like their dog's barking in the background, where they might have been the person that called you before and was like, that's unprofessional. Now they're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Everyone has dogs, kids, cats.
Yeah, and Amazon's
Boyfriends.
that much more like existent with or different delivery things, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I think we got a little bit off topic. Let's kind of
Yes.
roll it back a little
Reel
bit.
it back in.
Yes. Okay.
So getting out of a rut.
Yes. What have we covered so far? I told the story about the hot chocolate.
Yes.
Beautiful story. Journaling, say that word for me.
I think you want to say diarying, but I've never heard it called that before.
I don't think I've ever
I
called it
don't know.
that before, and it sounds a lot like diarrhea.
Diarying, maybe we make it a little spicy.
There we go. Writing words down on a piece of paper or electronic device.
Yes, getting the feelings out in some sort of word form. And physically moving your body, I think, is important too. There's like the times where all I want to do is curl up in a ball, but I know that if I take the dogs outside for even 20 minutes, I'm gonna feel better. Fresh air, movement. And I'm not like a super fit person, but I know that I need to take care of my body, and that's one of the ways that I feel better. So movement, and watching what you eat too. I think we all know that if we eat more crap, we feel crappier.
I know for a fact I'm about to order takeout after this,
Right. But
which I know is not good. But I'm
right.
in a good headspace, so I'm fine.
Right. It's fine.
I think it's also important to also not get so mad at yourself when you maybe mess up. I say again with quotations,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or
I don't even know
like,
if I'd call it messing up, but when you play on both sides, when you eat the banana for breakfast and you eat the waffles for lunch, like it's okay as long as you're not like going to extremes with it.
and
Then
it's not even just okay, like it's encouraged. Like know what
right.
makes you feel better, and know yourself, and find those clutches or crutches. Why? I've
I
never
love
done
them.
this.
What are their names?
Find those crutches or clutches that you know make yourself feel better, and
Yeah.
don't be ashamed. Like guilty pleasures, not a thing. Unless they're super weird, then maybe, but
Yeah, but then like as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, even then, as long as you're not harming like
as long as you're not like harming yourself in any way, and you're still doing it in moderation, and you're still respecting yourself, um, they can be a benefit. And then another thing I also wanted to talk about is who you surround yourself with, because I know obviously we all have been told who you surround yourself with is important, but I didn't really understand that to the full extent until I kind of started living by myself, choosing my own friends. Because I think a lot of people growing up, your friends aren't chosen for you.
but they just kind of fall into place.
Yes, exactly. And I'm definitely like I lucked out. I think you lucked out. Like we have the best friend group,
Yes.
but we didn't necessarily get to pick those. Like especially coming from our small town,
Yeah,
we
like
had
it's
very
just
limited
right.
friends.
Right. So then to like make choices, it didn't like happen. You just fell together. So as you got out on your own and you choose who's in your circle, or you move like gravitate away from people that didn't maybe support you in the best way, you're right. You start to notice it more and more.
And I think you find this is so like cliche and like everyone's heard it, but I think you do find your people and find your community almost once you're out there on your own and living. Because now like I surround myself with people who make me feel good, and then that's it, period. I don't
Yeah.
really entertain people who are
I don't want
negative.
to see you win.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I know it's cliche, but take inventory of your people, of your tribe.
And it's not, if you do find someone's in your life and isn't maybe adding to your life and maybe it's bringing you down, it's not like you have to go out there and be like, you're the worst person ever and like ruin that bridge.
No.
It's more maybe moderating how much you allow that person to
Yes.
influence you and influence your life. So if
And how much time and energy they take from you. Like I know there's days where I take your energy because I'm in a lower place, right? Like there's going to be back and forth in relationships. It's never showing up 100% all the time because there's just different things going on in our lives. But if they're constantly taking from your cup and not pouring into your soul soup bowl, I don't know. I made that up. I don't know.
it worked.
It worked. Then yes, be extra cautious of how much you invest in that relationship.
And also I found like saying like, hey, you are draining me or you are making me feel bad. I was always embarrassed to say that or
Yeah.
like almost ashamed to tell people that. But I think it's very important that you need to let people know how they are affecting you in your brain and your mind.
Ooh, we got to talk about that in another podcast. How do we do that? And what if they react? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make note of that real quick.
Yeah. Here, I'll make a note too.
So yeah, I think it is very important to kind of find your tribe. And I know like going through high school, I never thought that I would be able to like move out and like live on my own and like be able to control my life and my surroundings and my head.
Mindset. Yeah. Yeah. It's so much more in your own hands. And as soon as you start accepting responsibility, not that I always do, there are times when I'm like, oh, that's on that person that cut me off. But as soon as you do like start expanding your mind to accept responsibility, you're like, oh, It's like when you get pulled over for speeding, it's like, yeah, okay, I was late for a meeting, but that's because I had poor time management. So it comes back to you.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of the main message we're trying to get across with not only this episode, but like every episode we have, is that you are in control of your life, and it really is on you to make the most out of it.
Yeah.
But don't let that, there's no pressure to do anything.
And if something doesn't work, then just do it different. That's what we're doing. We're doing things different.
Exactly. And I think that if you kind of stick along with us, and already so far, like we've had a lot of, like, not a lot, but we've had some technical issues. We've had some barking dogs and stuff. And like, this is just genuinely us. We don't edit our videos. We edit our videos, but we don't take out when we mess up or when we, like, it's just us talking and having an actual conversation. And I think that you'll see as we continue to do these videos, us trying to take control of our life and maybe failing.
Yeah, like we're not perfect either, but we want to climb the ladder with you. And if there's somewhere that I have more experience in, then I want to share with you, and vice versa, and with our listeners and with just other people. Just be what you want to see.
Be what you want to see. That is so cliche. I love it.
That's from one of our other episodes.
Yeah, I know. It definitely is.
Yeah.
We definitely at least said it. I don't know if we titled an episode that, but we definitely said it.
I hope so. It's tattooed on my body now.
Exactly. That was fast. Okay, so I just want to give a little shout out to all of our social medias that are down here that Owen has beautifully put. This overlay that you see around us was beautifully created by Owen. He is a technological genius, so shout out to him.
Very good producer.
He really is. If you guys want to go give those a follow, if you like what we're saying, if you think we're annoying and hate us, hey, it happens.
Then, cool. Yeah, that works.
Exactly. But if you want to follow us, we would really, really appreciate that. Join us on this journey. And one thing I want to ask all of our listeners, if you want to message us either on Instagram or at our email account, which is thenewnet2020@outlook.com.
And just,
yeah, I hope I do. If that's incorrect, I will put that in the bio of this, but I will link that below. Let us know what you do to get out of a rut, because I am always looking for new ways to keep myself, not only get myself out of that negative headspace, but keep myself in a good headspace.
Maintain. Yes.
Exactly. And
self-care routine, also another thing we'll talk about.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm always looking for new ways, and I just like talking to people about these things. And Al's great to talk to, and I'm sure I'm great to talk to, but we definitely love other point of views. So give us a follow, give us a message. Yeah, anything you want to say, Val?
No, you covered it all. I'm just mesmerized by you, so we're good.
Honestly, same. I am amazing.
You are. I love it. All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, so next week, giveaway, and we may or may not have a special guest doing a bit of talking on our episode next week. It's going to stay a surprise, so keep an eye out for that. But other than that, I hope you guys all have a great week. Happy Monday. Holidays coming up. We have that giveaway. That's it.
Yeah, tune in.
Yeah. All right, guys, have a great week.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Bye.
Bye.